today, or yesterday, in fact. Hillary Clinton at some event said that she had always tried to restrain Israel from attacking Iran. What interesting timing to come out with this sort of thing. Hillary Clinton, Obama's Secretary of State, um, broke rank in quite sort of spectacular fashion to throw Netanyahu under the bus, to tell the world that Netanyahu had and previous Israeli regimes had pestered her to join in a US Israel attack on Iran on numerous occasions. I don't doubt that this is absolutely gospel truth, and that Hillary Clinton had declined. This isn't kind of to big up Hillary Clinton at all. I mean, this is somebody who is at the very heart of kind of American warmongering, and never saw a Tomahawk missile she didn't like. But the timing of it and what she's trying to say about herself, I think, tells a much bigger story. This comes in the same day that Trump has made a number of kind of pronouncements that indicate that he is deeply irritated with Netanyahu, and deeply irritated with Israel's attempts to derail the kind of shaky peace plan stroke deal that is designed to get Trump out of the hole he's dug for himself. You have a Democrat and a Republican, though Trump isn't really anything at all, really. He's an opportunist, charlatan, con man. Both saying essentially things that, in the normal run of things, are unprecedented for the American political class. We've had it with Israel, or we've had it with the current leadership of Israel. It's widely known that presidents from Truman all the way through to Obama spent years tearing their hair out over Israel, of edging closer towards managing peace deals, normally peace deals which should massively benefit Israel, at the expense of the Palestinians, only to find the Israelis sabotaging that, or I say the Israelis, the Israeli government, the Israeli state sabotaging that, and leading its own kind of violent, independent foreign policy, always underwritten by the US taxpayer. Fairly shortly afterwards, there were, LBJ, George W. Bush have all used son of a bitch when referring to Israeli prime ministers. Ronald Reagan famously rang Israel to tell the Israeli government at the time to end its bombardment of Beirut. The problem being, of course, is that so much of this is underwritten by America and financed by America. Then when you get Menachem Begin, who this violent anti-Palestinian colonialist monster, really, being told by Reagan to stop bombing Beirut. It's a bit like, your neighbor, the serial killer who you've given a shotgun to, giving them a ticking off when they go and use it. It's a kind of sort of farcical, really. But what does all this kind of point towards? I mean, Trump was inevitably going to get pissed off with Netanyahu when Netanyahu caused him a sufficient amount of trouble, in terms of this, Trump trying to kind of back out of the mess he'd made for himself in Iran. Netanyahu was never going to go along with that because it's within Netanyahu's interest to keep conflict going and to draw America in a Vietnam way to such a point where it becomes impossible for America to reverse, and then you've kind of got America as your permanent power amplifier in the Middle East. Of course, America did eventually reverse from Vietnam, so it's a bit of a flawed thesis. Um, and then you've also got the other key parts of the kind of the Washington foreign policy defense establishment. Hillary Clinton is a really significant part of all of that, saying, well, back in the day, actually, these guys were always a nightmare. And that indicates to me some broader shift in the US, which I think is positive. I think that if there is this broader shift happening, what they might be saying is, whilst America will continue to support Israel, maybe this iteration of Israel doing what it does, Israel having dragged us into this war, that's something we're not going to support. Perhaps that's what the mood music is saying here. We can but hope. Of course, Trump would present himself. The only thing that he can possibly do is present himself as having been lied to. He probably doesn't want to present himself in that way, to look like a bit of a sucker. But he had not, shall we say, done due diligence when Netanyahu presented him with this scheme. So there is a way of him potentially reversing out that way, but it does involve throwing Netanyahu under the bus, and he'd be perfectly willing to do that. He's willing to throw anybody under the bus. But is the rest of the two-party consensus in America, and the what you would think of as the deep state, though I don't really try not to use that term, is this now slowly decoupling from Israeli politics, from Zionism? Too early to say, but it's certainly an interesting development.